This is the second part of the first lecture. In the first part, we talked about the essence of operations management. Now in this part, let us discuss the criticality of operations management. Why does operations management matter? Why do we need to take this course and study? Why do we have to know about this course? That's the topic that we want to answer in this lecture. As we answer that question, I want to bring your attention to this acronym, COIN. C stands for cost saving, O for organizational employment, I is for innovation, and N is for national chain effect. Because of these four reasons, operations management is such an important topic in business. So I want you to remember COIN. C-O-I-N, COIN. First, cost-saving perspective. Take a look at this table. This table presents three scenarios that improve the bottom line of the company. We have marketing option, finance and accounting option, and operations management option. At the current status, this company reaches to $100,000 of sales and obtains $10,500 of contribution margin right here. And we have costs in between, including cost of goods, gross margin, finance cost, subtotal, taxes at 25%. The three options that we will consider are marketing, finance, and operations management options. Look at marketing option. It increases sales by 50% from $100,000 to $150,000. After deducting cost of goods, finance cost, and taxes, the contribution margin is now $18,000, an increase of $7,500 from the original status. Now look at the finance and accounting option. You worked very hard with banks and insurance companies, and somehow you were able to reduce the financial cost by 50%, meaning the finance cost decreased from $6,000 to $3,000. The contribution margin at this case is $12,750, which is lower than the marketing option, but still is a good increase from the first condition. Now let us take a look at operations management option. In this option, 20% of cost reduction in production took place, meaning that 80,000 to 64,000 was reduced. Subsequently, the contribution margin is now $22,500. Now compare the contribution margins across the three scenarios. Which one resulted in the most saving? You can compare 18,000, 12,750, and 22,500, and we see that operations management option resulted in the most effective profit. Now let me ask you this question. How come 20% of reduction in production cost brings the most effective savings than the other options, such as 50% of sales increase or 50% of finance cost reduction? The answer can be found in the cost structure. Take a look at the cost structure of the original balance sheet. Cost of goods was $80,000, right? This shows that 80% of sales revenue is taken up by this cost of goods. Small savings in large chunk of cost in production carries more weight than big sales increase and savings in finance or marketing. That's why it is so powerful. Another example can be found in this illustration. Look at this fastener design. How many components do you see? If you count all these components, you will see that there are about 20 parts in this picture. Now look at figure B, the revised design. As you can see, now the design is simplified and you have only 4 parts. Can you imagine the savings that you can reap from this design simplification? Not only reduction in material cost, but also supply chain and assembly process and quality improvement will follow the design enhancement. Now, look at figure C. You have only 2 parts, 1 and 2, and it's just snapping it, so the assembly is easier too. The savings from figure 1 or figure A to figure C is tremendous. This is an example of the power of operations management in cost saving. Here is another example of Starbucks operations management improvement. Starbucks deployed a team of 10 analysts and they continually looked for ways to shave time. Some improvements they came up with was to stop requiring signatures on credit card purchases under $25. That improvement saved 8 seconds per transactions, which will reduce the waiting line and quicken the checkout process. Also, they came up with a suggestion to change the size of the ice scoop. That saves 14 seconds per drink. And you can think of the improvements altogether. And new espresso machines saved 12 seconds per shot as well. Operations improvements in Starbucks have helped Starbucks increase yearly revenue per outlet by $200,000 to $940,000 in 6 years. Productivity has improved by 27% or about 4.5% per year. The second reason why operations management is important is because of this organizational employment reason. Which area of business hires the largest number of employees? Nowadays we can see usually marketing hires lots of people, human resources as well, and finance, accounting, some people are employed there. But 60 years ago, the largest chunk of employment came from manufacturing. This figure is a little bit difficult to read, but if you look at it, this shows a very informative information to us. If you look at the finance industries, the employment has been growing from 10.5% to 21.4% of employment in 2009. What about government? Government was steady. In 1947, it was 12.5% of the GDP, but now 13.8%. So it's a little bit, by and large, it's very similar. Professional and business services has seen amazing growth over the years and 12.1%. And wholesale and retail sales, it's been decreasing, surprisingly, 15.9% to 11.5%. The most surprising part comes from this manufacturing. It used to take up 25% of GDP, but now only 11% of GDP. In other words, we have lost a lot of manufacturing jobs over the years to other countries. And if we can take them back, it will be really great. So we can see that manufacturing or operations used to be taking up the largest part of the economy. However, in 60 years, we have drastically lost the capability, which is quite sad, and it's being discussed again these days. The third reason, I, is for innovation or value creation. How has operations management created value for business? An example would be Ford. In the early 1900s, a car was a status symbol that only the rich could ride. However, Henry Ford foresaw that the day for everyone to ride on a car is on the way. This vision enabled him to work hard to invent an affordable and durable car. The product of his effort is Model T. The car out there was selling for about $1,500, and he was able to cut the price in half and offered cars at $875 only. After 4 years, he cut the price to $575, another $200 or $300. He slashed the price out of that sales price. One of the reasons he was able to reduce the car price was because he was able to change the process of manufacturing a car drastically. The car at the time was usually made by the workmanship. However, he changed that workmanship to assembly line where even unskilled workers could learn and make a car as a team. And this change of operations management, this innovation, empowered him to cut the price down and make cars available to everyone in the United States and later in the world. Before the assembly line, it took 18 days to make a car. After the invention of the assembly line, it took only 1.5 hours to assemble a car on the assembly line. Isn't it amazing? A few things made this possible. Model T was a result of improved business processes. He modularized the car's components. According to Ralph Stein, the Model T was in many ways ahead of its time. With heads that were removable and an engine, clutch, transmission, and universal joint that all shared a common oil bath. These were conveniences for repair and maintenance that other automobiles did not have. Product renovation added a distinct competitive advantage to that already afforded by the assembly line process. Here's another innovative process. Rather than a line assembly line, modern manufacturers realized the benefit of U-shaped work cell. Compared to traditional line, this process enables workers to communicate more effectively with each other and even rotate their job roles and handle more work with less people, which is another innovation. The fourth reason why operations management is important is N, coin N, national chain effect. Let us identify and analyze the critical role of operations in national economy. Have you watched these movies, Pearl Harbor and Schindler's List? I think most of you did. Pearl Harbor and Schindler's List both depict the situation during the World War II. How was the status of Germany and Japan right after the war? They were literally devastated at the time. The cities were flattened and the countries lost the infrastructure for economic development. In 1970s and 80s, the countries came back to the world stage as power nations, however. Both Japan and Germany made it to G7 nations. How were they able to make such a comeback so quickly? There could be many reasons. One of them is because the countries built economic strength and development very rapidly. In particular, they were strong at operations management and put forward companies excelling in world stage. Can you think of such examples? Such companies excelling in manufacturing. Yes, you can think of BMW, Benz, Volkswagen, SAP, Siemens, BASF, Bayer, Toyota, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, Sony, Mitsubishi, Hitachi, and so forth. They all not only perfected their operations management, but also laid the foundation for excellence for the countries. It's because this manufacturing sector leads such a great spillover impact on the other industries as well. That's why they were able to come back to the world stage so quickly. In this sense, we can say that operations management and manufacturing have spillover impact on other industries as well. Look at this chain effect of manufacturing. In a nutshell, operations management plays an integral role in an economy. Its production and service spill over to other industries, such as its supply chains, distribution chains, and other service areas. Take GM, for example. When GM does well in sales and exports, it does not mean the success of GM only. It's the success of the whole economy. Why is it so? It's because GM carries thousands of suppliers and distributors around the world. When GM sells cars, it sells thousands of parts and components and raw materials and logistics service. It also helps the distributors to earn more premiums and get businesses. The increased volume of business will be translated into more businesses with service firms such as accounting firms, insurance firms, banking, and repairs. The success of GM will be transferred to other businesses and sectors, and the whole economy will become prosperous as well. This is national chain effect that manufacturing and operations management carries. I think the success of Germany and Japan via their manufacturing operations were the hallmark of this point of national chain effect. So, why operations management? Why is it so critical in business? It's because of coin. It saves cost. It also helps the economy to employ more people. And it spurs innovation for companies and economies. And lastly, it boosts the capability and capacity of the economy because of its chain effect. So because of this coin, for these four reasons, I think operations management is critical for business, and that's why you are taking this course. Thank you.